Washington State is the 50th out of 50th state for mental health. They're the worst state.
100%.
This is how it works in Washington State. So some guy or gal is a harm to themselves or others. Somebody calls them because something. Police officer goes to that call. They determine that that person is a threat to themselves or others. They call dispatch. Dispatch calls the on-call mental health person who's sleeping. Oh yeah, just send them up to the hospital. You got to sit on them for till I get there.
72-hour hold.
That takes that officer off the streets. In my town, it could be the only officer. So then you're having time for officer to call out. So then that officer's sitting. Mental health comes up, evaluates him, calls Western State Hospital. Oh, sorry, we don't have any beds. So then they release them because there's no crimes. So that person's got to follow up with MHP during the normal work hours of the MHP facility. So then they go and harm somebody or harm themselves and then or commit a crime. And then they're arrested and then they're in jail. And then the corrections officers have to deal with a mental health person. Smaller facilities don't have the person always there, or even a medical facility, infirmary, if you will, for that, especially in my area. So then you have just corrections officers who have very little training on this. These guys have to experience this over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's not fair to them at all. I want to just say,
I think it's
talking about mental health being a line item in the defund situation. What Sean explained was an underfunded mental health prepared system. So what you're saying is that we shouldn't do it because it doesn't work because we're not funding it. But if we funded it better and there was beds and there was 50 mental health people on call instead of just that one, and that they wouldn't get to the jail. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's a money system to put a person in the hospital to spit him out. The hospital gets money, spit him out, goes to jail. The jail gets money, spit him back out. And I think if we had 50 mental health people, that corrections officer, he wouldn't be so stressed. And that cop that has to go and see a accident and write up the report and exchange license, he isn't going to be that one cop that's taken away from everything. You know what I mean? So he's still going to be available for the more serious things, and when he goes home, he's not going to be so stressed because he didn't have to go from talking a wife and a husband down from an alcoholic stupor to some kid that has an actual rifle and is an actual threat.
And that's a big argument for defund the police. Now, I don't like the term defund the police because it just sounds so horrible. I am getting to like it more now because it's so polarizing. It's like, well, what does this mean? Like everyone just, let's say a simple suburban person that doesn't read the news or know very much, pretty non-intelligent person, right? Not very active. That sounds like a scary thing. Like, oh my gosh, the police are here to like protect us and to do things, It's like, no, it's like reallocate.